I never wanted revenge at work. I just wanted to do my job, collect my paycheck, and go home. But when my boss stood in front of the entire executive team, took credit for months of my work, and smiled while doing it, I realized something. The most devastating revenge doesn't involve yelling or threats or even HR complaints. It involves letting them speak. I was a project analyst at a typical mid-sized corporate company. You know, the kind: open floor offices, a culture committee, and endless weekly meetings that somehow accomplished nothing. My job looked simple on paper: data analysis, forecasting, and reporting. But in reality, my job was to clean up the messes other departments made and quietly make the leadership look competent. My boss had been there for years. He was well-liked, confident, and very, very good at talking. He also had a habit of summarizing the team's contributions. And by summarizing, I mean absorbing them into his own. At first, it was subtle. A slide deck I spent a week building would suddenly become his strategy. A cost-saving idea I brought up in a one-on-one became something he'd been thinking about for a while. Whenever I tried to bring it up casually, he'd just laugh it off. "Relax," he'd say, "it's a team win." I didn't want to be difficult. I didn't want to be labeled as that employee who complains. So, I convinced myself it wasn't worth fighting over. And that was my first big mistake. A few months later, I was assigned to a major forecasting project. This wasn't just busy work. This was the kind of project with high-level, executive visibility. I poured everything into it. I spent nights cleaning messy data. I spent weekends testing assumptions and refining the methodology. I built a complex forecasting model that proved we were overspending in 3 key departments, and it showed exactly how to fix it. The projected savings were massive. We're talking 6 figures minimum. My boss checked in on my progress exactly once. He just nodded, looked at the screen, and said, "Nice work. I'll present this." That sentence should have set off every alarm bell in my head, but I was still naive. The day of the quarterly executive meeting arrived. Of course, I wasn't invited. Instead, I had to watch the live presentation recording later that afternoon. And that's when my stomach just dropped. My boss walked through the entire model as if he had built it himself, from scratch. He used my charts. He used my exact phrasing. He even used my specific formatting choices that I'd spent hours perfecting. He never said my name. Not one single time. But it got worse. When the executives started asking detailed questions about the model's logic, he guessed. And he guessed completely wrong. I sat at my desk, watching him confidently explain decisions based on my work, while fundamentally misunderstanding it. The executives nodded along, impressed. He smiled, soaking up the praise. I felt completely invisible. After that, I knew I had to do something. I documented everything. I sent polite follow-up emails to create a paper trail. I saved every version of the file with clear timestamps. I finally requested a meeting with Our. Their response was disappointing. They gave me the standard corporate line: "We encourage open communication and professionalism." They actually suggested I clarify expectations with my manager. So I did. I sat down with him. He smiled. He nodded. He agreed. And absolutely nothing changed. About a month later, another major meeting was scheduled. This one was even bigger. The board of directors would be there. And just like before, my boss came to my desk and asked me to send everything over. That's when it hit me. The most important realization I had in my entire career. He didn't understand my work. He absolutely relied on it to look good, but he couldn't defend it. He couldn't explain it. He couldn't answer a single tough question about it. And in that moment, I stopped trying to protect him. I stopped trying to make him look good. I didn't sabotage anything. I didn't delete any files. I didn't go around warning people. I did exactly what he asked. I sent him everything. But this time, I sent the raw, unpolished data. I sent the model with all my messy notes and version histories still inside. I sent every piece of documentation. Nothing was hidden, but nothing was explained in a neat little package for him either. And this time, I CC'd the entire leadership team on that email. During the board meeting, the questions came fast. Very fast. They were technical questions. Questions about my assumptions. Questions about the risks. My boss started to stumble. He tried to blame it on last-minute changes and team alignment issues and data inconsistencies. Then, one of the executives opened the files I had sent, and there it was. My name, on every single document, time-stamped, versioned, undeniable. A long, uncomfortable silence filled the room. Finally, one of the board members asked the question that hung in the air. So who actually built this model? My boss didn't have an answer. The very next morning, HR called me in for a meeting. But this time, their tone was completely different. They asked me questions, very specific ones, but it was clear they already knew all the answers. My boss was removed from managing projects almost immediately. Then he was reassigned to a different department. And then, he quietly exited the company. There was no big announcement. No farewell email. He was just gone. I wasn't promoted overnight, but I was included in every single important meeting after that. My name started appearing on the presentation slides. Executives started asking for my input directly, in front of everyone. And my next manager, he made it a point to ensure that credit was always, very clearly, assigned to the person who did the work. I never raised my voice. I never threatened anyone. I just stopped covering for someone who didn't deserve it. Because sometimes in the professional world, the most powerful form of revenge isn't anger, it's documentation. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. See you next time.